Today, on Be Something Wonderful, you can feel anything and still manifest everything. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and these are the studios of Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. One of you reached out and said that you've been told that you'll never be able to manifest what you want until you control your thoughts and feelings. Well, we're going to talk about this today and more. Remember, it's not about controlling your temporary and changing thoughts and feelings or any circumstances, seen or unseen. The unseen thoughts and feelings or the seen people, events, and circumstances. What do you manifest and create as your life experience? Who and what you are conscious and aware of being. What you assume and believe and define as true of yourself in your reality. That's all of it. So one of the biggest limiting beliefs is that you have to feel good or feel a certain way to manifest what you want and desire. Right? And I get it. The law of attraction teachers talk about this. Abraham Hicks talks about feeling good. And I agree. It does feel good to feel good. But it's bigger than that. It's your identity that creates your reality. Right? What you believe is true about yourself and your reality. Neville Goddard talks about feeling is the secret. But remember, he's referring to a state of being. He's referring to a conviction within. Right? The secret is not your changing thoughts and feelings. That's not the secret that Neville Goddard's referring to. What we refer to as emotion or emotions. But the assumption and acceptance of the fact that what you want and desire is already yours. That's what Neville Goddard is pointing to. Your wish is fulfilled, that you are already that which you want to be, and your refusal to believe it is the only reason you do not see it. That's a quote from Neville Goddard, right? And so what is he really talking about? He's talking about the acceptance, the assumption and acceptance of the fact that what you want and desire is already yours, that your wish is already fulfilled, that you are already that which you want to be, and it's only your refusal to believe it is the only reason you do not see it. He's talking about a conviction that can't be shaken. Right? Mere belief can be shaken. But we're talking about a conviction. It's beyond belief. Right? To believe, what does belief mean? Believe simply means to be aware and to assume and accept an idea as the truth or true of yourself in your reality. So that's what belief is. It's just your awareness. What you accept and assume to be true of yourself in your reality. That's belief. And that is a conviction of I am that which I desire to be. No external proof or evidence is required. We think of belief as we need proof. We need to see it. We need some external proof, but the belief that Neville Goddard is talking about is an awareness. It's an acceptance. It's an assumption that doesn't need proof or evidence. Assumptions don't need proof. Your assumption is the proof. Your acceptance of that identity and reality is the only proof. You as awareness is the proof of your reality. Wow. So, remember this. The fact that you want and desire it means it exists as a fulfilled reality here and now. Or you wouldn't even be able to desire it and want it. You can't want and desire what doesn't exist. Why? Because non-existence doesn't exist. You are the proof and evidence, right? To want and desire it is to know it's already yours no matter what. That it's done, that it's yours, that it's fulfilled. You're already that which you want and desire to be no matter what. No matter what you're thinking and feeling, no matter what the changing emotions, no matter what happens out there in the reality that appears to be out there, but we know, as John Wheeler and the scientist John Wheeler and Bashar and other spiritual greats have said, there is no out there, It's within you. No matter what you do or see, no matter what you're thinking, feeling, seeing, or doing, it's done. You're the evidence. You're the proof. In The Chosen, there's a scene that I've talked about in other videos. The Chosen is that TV show, the life of Jesus Christ. The metaphysical meaning of Jesus Christ, remember, is your I am awareness of being, your higher self, the ideal you. And Jesus prepares to enter Jerusalem, and he's talking to his disciples. This is the week of the Passover, right? So, and remember what Passover means. It means shifting to the assumption and acceptance of your desired reality, of your desired identity. You're passing over to that identity, to your ideal, to what you want and desire. You're being it. And remember, Jerusalem represents that state of knowing, I am that I am. It's your higher knowing. Your higher knowing that you are that ideal already. So Jesus prepares to enter Jerusalem, that higher state, that knowing that you already are that which you desire to be, the week of Passover. As you pass over to that identity or that ideal, as you shift realities into your desired reality. And remember also, Jesus, this is before he enters Jerusalem, and he later gets captured. And remember, Pontius Pilate said there's a tradition back in that time, to release a prisoner. And Jesus was taken prisoner, right? And they also had a prisoner, Barabbas. And it says in Scripture, Barabbas was a robber. It actually says that in John 18:40. That's an interesting verse in Scripture, right? And so Pontius Pilate is presenting Jesus, your I am awareness, Jesus the Christ, right? Your higher self, you as your ideal reality, or Barabbas, the thief and robber, right? And think of Barabbas as that part of you that's trying to control your thoughts and feelings and the appearances and what you do or don't do. So what does the crowd say? Not this man, not Jesus the Christ. Don't release him, release Barabbas. And it says in Scripture, Barabbas was a robber. Was a robber, meaning that you trying to control your thoughts and feelings, trying to control the circumstances, trying to control the appearances, trying to control what you do or don't do. That robs you of already being that person that you desire to be. Do you see it? All of those thoughts and feelings and changing conditions, you're focused there on trying to control them. And believing that's a condition to everything you want robs you of already being it right now. So release Barabbas, release that idea that the thoughts and feelings, that you need to think a certain way or feel a certain way or see a certain thing or do a certain thing. And just be it. And it's interesting, in this scene in The Chosen, as Jesus prepares to enter Jerusalem, he says this to his disciples, very powerful. No matter what happens this week, the week of Passover, no matter what happens as you shift and claim this new reality, this new identity, no matter what you see or feel or think or do, wow. No matter what you see, feel, or think or do, I want you to know that in this world, I loved you as my own. Wow. There's absolutely no separation, no division, no conditions between what you want and desire in you. That's what the message is here. There's no separation between what you being aware of yourself, of already being that reality, that desired reality, and the physical conditions that you believe are there, keeping you from it. There's no separation. I loved you as my own. I am's the only reality, in other words. It's the only proof and evidence that you need in this world, in your 3D physical experience. Read this again. No matter what happens this week, no matter what you see or feel or think or do, I want you to know that in this world, in this physical experience, I loved you as my own. In other words, I am's the only reality, the only proof and evidence that you need in this world. You don't have to control your thoughts and feelings. You don't have to control the appearances. You don't have to control others. There's nothing to do. Release Barabbas. Release Barabbas. Barabbas was a robber. It's just robbing you of already being that person that you desire to be. Very powerful here. So we'll get back to that. And I want to remind you of this. Some of you might recognize this. I've talked about before levels of creation, levels of reality creation, right? And levels 1 through 7. 7 being God, existence itself, source, first cause, the isness of reality. And then in level 1 being your physically focused you. But notice here, we're gonna get to all of this, but notice it's all one. There's no separation at all between any of these levels. That you are the center. There you are, the physically focused you. Here you are, level 1, but you're all levels. You're not separate from anything. You're the center of all that is. It's you focused in all your physical, all your thoughts and all your feelings and all your experiences are all integrated in this physically focused personality that you call yourself, right? Whatever name you call yourself, that's you, but it's also your higher self. So we have existence itself. I represent this by this solid line. And again, it's all that is, right? It's the great existence, God the Father, level 7. Then you have level 6, your I am awareness, you being aware of yourself as all that is. The Father and the Son, right? The Father is glorified through his Son, through the awareness of being existence, through the awareness of being all that is. It's the great I am knowing itself as the great I am. You have that awareness of being. It's your higher self, but remember, it's also you in the physically focused reality. You see this? I am, I am, I am. It's I and the Father are one, and the Father is greater than I. It's the same. You're one with the Father. There's no separation. There's no division. Then you have level 5 we've talked about, identity, right? Your self-concept. What's the highest ideal or concept that you have of yourself? That you are Christ, the Son of the living God, that you are I am awareness, that there are absolutely no limitations, right? That you are all that is, that all of your lives are going on right now, all of your possibilities, that you're all of these. And then level 4 are your assumptions and beliefs and definitions. What you believe is true about yourself and your reality. You believe it's so true that you don't question it anymore. But you can question these all the time when you think from that higher perspective, from higher levels. Because these are new in every moment. Who do you assume you are? What do you believe is true about yourself and your reality? Then you have level 3, thoughts, and level 2, feelings. And then level 1, the physically focused you. But you see, the point is it's all integrated. You don't have to control the thoughts and feelings of what we call emotion. You don't have to control what you see in the physically focused experience. It doesn't matter what you do or don't do. You don't have to control any of that. It's you knowing yourself as an integration of all of this. That you are all that is, and there is no other. That you are God and there is no other. You're the center of all of it. That's powerful. And then you create this linear, horizontal physical experience. But notice that I have it a dotted line. It's always changing in every moment. From this now present moment, in the now, you create who you were and who you will be. Because you're all of it. Do you see this? I've presented this before, and you've seen this in other videos, and there's even a playlist, Levels of Creation. But that's why you're not controlling any of that. Because you are the one. You are the great I am knowing itself experientially, physically through this physically focused experience. You are your higher self. There is no separation. You are one with the Father. That's powerful. So we'll get back to that. So what's the point? The point is to stop waiting stop waiting to think and feel better. Stop looking for what's missing. So stop waiting to think and feel better or different, right? And stop looking for what's missing. This was in that show, The Chosen. There's another scene that I've talked about where Jesus gathers his disciples together and says, I have chosen you 12 as my apostles. So they're no longer students and followers of Jesus Christ, your I am awareness, or the law, the Lord or the law, right? You're no longer a student or a follower of the law. You are the law. You are the message now. You are the apostle. You're going to go out. He said he was going to send them out 2 by 2 to do works and wonders, to do miracles, right? They're kind of shocked at this, right? We get shocked that we're the creator. And he says, you're going to declare that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. In other words, it's now. You don't have to control your thoughts and feelings. You have to wait. You don't have to wait to think and feel better thoughts. You don't have to look for what's missing. If you remember during this scene, if you go to the scene itself, where, and I think you can, if you Google it, just Google, I don't need you to feel anything to do great things, The Chosen, and this scene will come up. One of the disciples goes, did I miss a meaning? Is it? And Jesus, your awareness goes, this is it. We're always looking to see if we miss something, right? That maybe there's still something there's still a condition that needs to be met before I can just create the life of my absolute dreams. Remember this. You're not only insanely powerful, as we've talked about, but you are all power. You're all the power there is. You are all that is. You don't just create and manifest your own reality, but you are you're all the reality that there is. There is no reality outside of you. All that you are is all that is. Remember this. This is you. So if what you want and desire hasn't manifested, if reality hasn't moved, it's because you're still assuming and believing that you're limited, that you're separate, that you're lacking power to change or alter or influence or create a physical reality that appears to be outside of you. Still trying to control things, still trying to influence a reality that looks like it's outside of you. That's why. If it appears that it hasn't moved, if it appears that it hasn't manifested, it's because you're still believing that, okay, maybe I'm powerful, but I'm still lacking some power. I still need something else. Something's missing, right? And remember what Jesus says. I don't need you to feel, and of course, one of the, Nathaniel says to Jesus, I don't feel any different. I don't feel like I can go out and just do works and wonders. And then Jesus, as your I am awareness, says, I don't need you to feel anything to do great things. It's not about the thoughts and feelings. It's great. It feels good to feel good. It feels good to think positive thoughts. But that's not control. It's your identity. It's who you decide you are, who you choose to be as all power. You're still trying to control what you see and feel and think and do. Instead, integrate it all. See it, feel it, think it, do it, and manifest it anyway, no matter what. Hear it again. I want to show this, right? You're still trying to control things. Integrate it all. Think it, feel it, see it, do it, but manifest it anyway. Know yourself as all that is. So that's why, if it hasn't moved, if it hasn't manifested yet, you're still assuming that you're limited in some way, separate in some way, lacking power. Still looking at a reality outside yourself, still trying to control what you see and feel and think and do. Instead, integrate it. See it, feel it, think it, do it, and manifest it anyway. Right? As Jesus said, no matter what you see this week, right? No matter what happens this week, no matter what you see or think or feel or do, know that you were loved. I loved you as my own in this world. That's powerful. In other words, you're already there. That's what the whole point of the scene was, right? No matter what happens this week, because we're always thinking, well, what's happening, right? What about this What do I do with this? No matter what you see or feel or think or do, I want you to know in this world I loved you as my own. Integrate it all. See it, feel it, think it, do it, allow it to happen. And then manifest it anyway, no matter what. That's powerful. Some spiritual teachers, I think, have pointed this out. But I don't know if you remember, I'm sure some of you do, the 1990 movie Ghost with Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze, of course, got killed and he was a ghost. And he didn't know how to move things. He couldn't touch things, right? He's non-physical. And another ghost was teaching him or telling him how to do it, how to influence physical reality. Wow. How to manifest and create, in other words, right? And this is what the ghost says to Patrick Swayze, the new ghost. It's all in your mind. Wow. The problem with you is you still think you're real. In other words, you still think reality's out there. You're still focused on what you're seeing and thinking and feeling and doing out there. Right? You still think you're real. I love that. You think you're wearing those clothes. You think you're crouched on the floor. Patrick Swayze was crouched on the floor, right? And the ghost says, BS, right? Bull on that. You ain't got a body no more, son. It's all up here now. In other words, it's within you. You want to move something, you got to move it with your mind. Wow. You got to focus. You got to focus. It reminds me of that. There was one talk that Abraham Hicks, the spiritual teacher that channels those non-physicals, someone was in the audience and said, okay, with his sort of arms crossed, trying to question Abraham and say, well, then do I just sit on my couch and do nothing and then I'll get everything I want? And again, it's never about what you do or don't do. So she goes, it's about focus. In other words, she goes, look around, like look at the planets, look at the stars, look at the universe. Somebody focused. In other words, it's focus. Right? It's focus. What is focus? It's knowing. It's knowing yourself as all that is. That's all focus is. Know yourself as all that is. Know that you're already that person you desire to be. That's all. It's not effort. And the other ghost, played by Patrick Swayze, well, how? How do you focus? I love that, right? Because we ask this question, well, how, Tom? How do I do it? How do I focus? Well, what's the experienced ghost say? I don't know how you focus. You just focus. In other words, you just know. It's already there. You are this. You are the focus of all that is. You are all that is. You are the focused, individualized, focused viewpoint or localized viewpoint of all that is. It's you, that individualized, personalized viewpoint or perspective of all that is. I love this. This is what the ghost says. You got to take all your emotions, all your anger, all your love, all your hate, and push it way down in the pit of your stomach, and then let it explode like a reactor. Wow! In other words, it's not about changing thoughts and feelings. It's about taking all of this, the thoughts, the feelings, your assumptions, beliefs, the identity, all that you are, all the source that you are, and centering yourself as all that is. And then it explodes as a horizontal linear experience in your physical reality. That's powerful. It's you as source energy, you as the substance, you as reality. That's what they're pointing at there. Do you see it? All of that is you. It's not about trying to feel good all the time, though it is nice. It does feel good to feel good. No one's going to dispute that. But it's all of you as the center, the pit of the stomach, recognizing that you are the center of all that is. Right from that diagram that I just showed you, this here. You are the center. You are source. Take everything that you are. Integrate it all. One integrated mind. You as the one divine mind. That one integrated mind. And focus on what you want and desire. It must be then. Because you're all of it. Wow, that's powerful. You can manifest you can feel anything and still manifest everything. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and these are the studios at Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Be sure to join the Tom Kearin YouTube channel. We have another video coming out on that. And you can find us there at the Tom Kearin, Kearin. In about a week, this coming Sunday, we have our 4th live event, our 4th live stream of this year, right? We've had many live streams, right? A couple dozen now. But we're going to have our 4th live event of 2025 next weekend, next Sunday. So it's actually this Sunday coming up. April 27th, 2025 at 12 noon time Pacific. I'm going to answer your questions during the live stream as you ask them. It's always fun. Join us there. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and these are the studios of Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude. We'll see you soon.